What is up, Fin fans? Long time no see. I haven't seen you guys in forever. That's a lie. I made, what, 2 videos yesterday? But what's up, Fin fans? How you guys doing? So today, I got a nice video for you guys playing today. Got Brian Flores press conference like he normally does before practice. I got some news and notes, injuries, some returning players. I got some surprises for you guys there. It's real great. Someone was released. If you don't know, then I'll let you know. I got contract update from Jakeem Grant, which is pretty cool. And then my comment of the day is going to come from Travis Wingfield. If you guys don't know who Travis Wingfield is, great Dolphin writer, breaks down the videos. Again, on my Twitter, check him out. He, while the game's going on, he does this thing with his pen where he points at the stuff. It's pretty cool. But he breaks down plays. He was doing it all preseason, gave us a good idea on Jerome Baker, all those guys. So Travis Wingfield is going to be my comment of the day because he had something really interesting to say that I really want to talk about. So let's jump into this and talk right with Flores and what he had to say. So when it talked about the quarterback decision on who's starting, he says Grier has an input. Grier's not just bring the people in and then Flores does his thing. He has an input as well. A lot of conversation on a daily basis about possible trades as well. So there's always talks, who's going where, all that stuff. So if you guys noticed in yesterday's video, I talked about with TJ McDonald, they tried to trade him, but nobody really wanted him, especially for the contract that we had giving out. So that's why he got cut. Even Brian Flores talks about cutting TJ McDonald. We felt like in this situation, that was the case when it comes to making the team better. Again, I said it in yesterday's video, but the whole TJ McDonald being cut, I don't see that as like, what the hell are they doing? Him and Rashad Jones play the same position, and I honestly think that Rashad Jones is the better safety than TJ McDonald, and plus you're not dumping Rashad Jones with that contract. And they also, before they cut TJ McDonald, they talked to Rashad Jones and said, look, we're not trading you. We're not doing anything with you. Don't even worry about that. So there's that. Nothing sudden that happened. TJ's been a good player for the organization. He's been a great teammate. Just this decision that made sense for the organization. So it wasn't like we're going to cut him. You know, this dude hasn't practiced. This dude hasn't played a preseason game in how long. We're going to cut him. That's it. I don't care. It was something that they probably were looking at where they were like, tried him at linebacker. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do that. He's just not fitting the scheme of this defense. And if you guys want to kind of get an idea of what the scheme of the defense is, first off, follow Travis Wingfield on Twitter. He really breaks this stuff down. I'm going to shout him out a little bit because he's the comment of the day. But it's a speed. The defense has a lot to do with speed. So you got the Guavin, Baker, nickel formation. Kiko, when he comes back, he has a lot of speed, especially at getting pass rush. Dinkle, great at getting pass rush, getting after the quarterback. They all have a lot of speed. So this whole defense, and then there's a lot of defensive sets where there's 2 down defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and a ton of corners and safeties on the field. Lots of speed, and TJ McDonald was on the slower side. He was a thumper where he'll knock your helmet off, but he was kind of slow. So that's probably why they let him go, because it was just to make the team better type thing. Now, they asked him about Kiko Alonso and Kenny Stills on being on the team next week. And this is what he had to say. I think each individual player needs to focus on today. So when he asked about Kenny Stills and Kiko Alonso, he's going to be on the team next week because next week is the big cuts. He was like, they need to focus on today, which means if he has it his way and if the trades come through, maybe not. But again, this is me speculating. He didn't say this, nor do I think anything's going to happen. It's just going off of what he said. I'm trying to read in between the lines and all that jazz. Finances are always a part of any move we make, he said. So that probably had to do with cutting TJ, and probably has to do with a lot of moves and people not going and people staying because maybe the dead cap is way too big and just doesn't make sense when the player can still be very viable, aka Rashad Jones. Brought up, last thing he talks about before I go into the other stuff I have planned for this video. Sorry. He didn't say sorry. I'm sorry because I coughed. I had a little whoo. He talks about TJ McDonald. That's not what I wanted to say. He talks about Raekwon McMillan. I'm just messing up all over this video. Talks about Raekwon McMillan. We haven't seen Raekwon McMillan in a very, very long time. And there's a lot of speculations out there of him potentially being traded. But he talks about Raekwon McMillan, and he says McMillan is working his way back We're getting close. But it's not from a lack of work. He's in there as long as the coaches are. So essentially meaning he's constantly in the film room. He's constantly with the coaches. He's constantly breaking things down. He's constantly doing his thing to make himself mentally better on top of physically better. Because if you guys noticed, last year was kind of his rookie year. In the first half of the season, he was kind of slow. And not slow like physically, where he's kind of, out of all of our linebackers, on the slow side, but slow to the gaps, which gap to hit, and you could tell that the game was still a little too fast for him. So the fact that, this time he's taking away from injury, he's going back to what he did his rookie year, which is learn a lot. It's very, very good. That's what Brian Flores had to say. Some movement. Will Holden was released. Now, I'm hearing that it was a mutual thing, that he kind of was just done with it, but he was released. Then these are the people that didn't practice today. I don't want to say TJ McDonald anymore because he's not on the team. Chase Allen, Ginkle, Quentin Pauling, McMillan, Walford, and Dwayne Allen. The fact that Dwayne Allen isn't practicing again, I don't know if he makes the team, to be honest with you. I will do my 53-man roster. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole 53, but I'm going to do my starter prediction before the cuts are due. I don't know if I'll be able to do it quick enough for the cuts to happen because obviously they're already happening. These are the people that are back in practice, which is some of these names I was like, yes, I am very happy about this. Drake, back at practice. Bobby McCain, back at practice. I know a lot of you guys hate that he's still at free safety where I'm going back to slot corner. I like him at free safety, but he's back. Jakeem Grant, back at practice. Devontae Parker, back at practice again. Kiko Alonso, back at practice. And Albert Wilson is back at practice, which is very great to hear. If you hear a dog barking in the background, I have the worst neighbors on the face of the earth that leave their dog out barking the whole entire time while I'm trying to record. But Albert Wilson is back at practice, which is great. And they even interviewed Albert Wilson, and he said he's excited to play week 1, and he's run full speed during rehab. I'm very excited for that. Albert Wilson is just going to add another dynamic aspect to this offense. Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson, Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills maybe, maybe not. Again, I don't know, and I'm not speculating. Preston Williams, very, very, very good offense with this. Now, got some other news to just drop on you guys. Dieter was walking with a little bit of a limp. I'm hoping he's okay. I hope they rest him this week, and I hope they rest him the next week so he can play week 1. Dieter had a little bit of a limp. I don't know who they would replace with him. But yeah, Dieter, a little bit of a limp. Then we got Chad Henne gets injured. He was the backup quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, Chad Henne. So who did the Chiefs grab? One of our scouts, Matt Moore. So Matt Moore is now the backup for Chad Henne with the Chiefs. Not the backup for Chad Henne. He's backup for Patrick Mahomes, but he takes Chad Henne's position with the Chiefs. Matt Moore, he was on the scout team for the Miami Dolphins, and he was working on being one of the scouts for the Dolphins. He was at the combine, all that stuff. But I guess the money called, and he thinks that, in this position, he doesn't necessarily have to play a full season because you got Patrick Mahomes, but God forbid he needs to go in, he'll do it. But a lot of people ask, why didn't they have Matt Moore? Like, where was Matt Moore last year? His arm isn't the way it used to be, so he's kind of hung him up. But that's a good situation for him because Patrick Mahomes is probably going to play the whole season, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. Then let's talk about Jakeem Grant's contract, and then I'll get into comment of the day. So with Jakeem Grant's contract, if you guys remember when I first did the video, I said it was 4 years, $24 million, $6 million a year. And some of you guys thought it was really expensive, and some of you guys thought, that's a lot of money for a glorified kick returner, some of you guys said, or that's a lot of money for someone who hasn't proved anything. The contract details have been fully released. So he's getting a 4-year extension with what is worth $19.7 million, $24 million with receptions, Pro Bowl incentives, all of those things. So you see the 4 years, $24 million, $6 million each year, you think, that's what it is. There's incentives that he has to make the Pro Bowls, have a certain amount of catches, all that stuff. I'm telling you, this new front office is really, really, really smart. So it's a $19.7 million a year for 4 years. That's not bad at all, but the best part of it is it's got $7.5 million guaranteed for 4 years. That's barely anything. 3.72 fully guaranteed. So essentially, what that says is the Dolphins have an opt-out for next year. So essentially, the $4.3 million incentives and the $3 million signing bonus. So the Dolphins can cut him after this year. Say he doesn't perform, say he regresses, he does horrible, all that stuff. The Dolphins can cut him after this year, and none of it goes against the cap. No dead money, no nothing. So, now that being said, I want to know, I love the contract. I love the contract from jump, and I love it even more now because the Dolphins are smart with signing these contracts. It's a new front office. It's a new thing. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think of what Brian Flores had to say, what he had to say about Kenny Stills, Kiko Alonso, what he had to say about the McDonald cut, McMillan. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think about Albert Wilson running full speed, about all the guys, Drake, Parker, McCain, all the guys back at practice. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think of the Dieter hobbling, the Will Holden cut, which I don't see it as anything. But most importantly, the guys, especially some of the guys who didn't like the Grant contract, now that the full contract is released, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Does it change your mind that it's literally we can opt out of his contract after this year if he doesn't get injured? Let me know. Comment below, and I'm going to get to the comment of the day, which again comes from Travis Wingfield. Again, this guy is amazing on Twitter. He's at practices, breaks down film, he's interviews players, really great. I'm trying to get him on the channel. We're trying to do something. Next time he's free, I'm going to try to get him on the channel. We can do a one-on-one, interview. But he broke down the 2020 offensive line free agents because we're going to have a lot of money next year. And some of the free agents that are available can really make this Dolphins offense ridiculously good. Now, we're not going to throw all of the money, right now we have 60 million, but with cuts and stuff, we might get up north of 90 million. Plus, we don't know the inflation of the cap space next year. But we're obviously not going to put all of this in the offensive line. We could. But listen to some of these guys. You got Collins and Conklin at right tackle are available. Scherf and Thuney at guard, and Rodney Hudson at center are available. Some of these guys. And when he said that, I was like, wow, I can see what the Dolphins are doing. They're building up the cap space. They probably saw these potential free agents coming out. Beat the draft picks because next year's draft is filled with a ton of good corners, good quarterbacks. Like, it's going to be a good year, and the Dolphins are going to really build off of what we're building. So, I'm very excited. When I read that from Travis, I looked into it some more, and I'm very, very excited. So, yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitter if you don't, because I retweet a lot of what he does. I retweet a lot of other things, and I put my own thoughts and all that stuff into it. So, be sure to follow me on Twitter. Check out the Bit Boys like usual. Check them out. We put video games out at least 3 times a week. If you like that stuff, be sure to subscribe. If not, don't feel like you need to. Give this video a thumbs up. Not only because the future is super bright with this Miami Dolphins team after all this stuff I told you about the potential, offensive line studs that are out there and the draft being deep at so many positions that we need. Give this a thumbs up because we got one more game. Then we're at the we're home for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to give you guys my schedule prediction. I'm thinking maybe the Saturday after the Thursday night game. That's what I'm thinking. The Friday, Saturday after the Thursday game, after our final preseason game. I'm going to give you guys my schedule prediction. And it's changing a little bit because Andrew Luck retired. I told you, this is why I waited. A lot of people are holding out. Injuries are happening. People are retiring. Season's starting to turn our way a little bit. So give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't checked out DolphinsTalk.com, be sure to check them out. I'm doing a podcast with them literally in about an hour. So it's going to be really fun. So be sure to check them out. I will be on the podcast. So go over there, check them out. If you're new from DolphinsTalk.com, how are you doing? If you're new in general, hit that subscribe button. I got fantasy football picks and updates. I got weekly picks with my dad, post-game, pre-game with injury reports, breaking news, all that stuff. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow if there's more news. But definitely Thursday, half hour before the game starts, going to live stream that sucker again. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.